Yeah, good morning, all of you. So, today our topic is about events and signals. So, let's learn this small topic. So, first of all, what is an event? So, before we go into the details, what is an event? So, if something happened within some location of time and space, okay? So, event is some action performed. That is what we call it as event. And signal, see, we say some college event, IT event. So that is an event. Signal is something where when you are calling through mobile, how the message is sent through signal we say. Okay. So that's what you have to understand, what is an event and a signal. Here usually, so signal representation is just like a class only, but we give the stereotype as signal. Okay, if you remember exceptions, signal. See, we have learned signal about under classifiers, if you remember. There we were talking about signal. It was just like a class, but only stereotyped as signal. And this signal is doing what event? So, of event is the one. So, that is the event declaration what they are giving here. Okay. So, say suppose the other example here, these are two different states. So, by seeing the representation itself, you should be able to say the conversation. Okay. So, this is ideal state. So, this is a state machine rounded rectangle ideal state, and this is active state. Okay. So, active state can be converted to ideal state after some time by passing some event, or when the connection is dropped. That is the event performed there when the connection is dropped. So when your internet is gone, so you will be no more connected to the class. So that is what event it happened there. And what is the signal? Through what signal you are working, that is what the signal what we say. Okay. So an active state can be changed into ideal state based on the event passed to it, event triggered on it. Okay. So these are the things about what we say event and signal. So this chapter also two parts. The first part, sorry. The first part is about terminology and concepts. Okay. So the first one, event. So we were learning about the general definitions of an event. So let's see the event definition with respect to our subjective terms. So an event is a specification of significant occurrence that has location in time and space. For a in this time, what exactly it is happened. See, we have our department conducted IT event. So at what time we say. But in that time also we have some space for full day. Okay. So that is what the event occurrence for a location of time and space. And in the context of state machines, in the context of state machines means between the different states what we were talking here. Okay, active and ideal. So in that context, if we take an event is an occurrence of stimulus that can trigger a state transition. So one state can be converted to other state based on the event what you are performing on that. Okay, so that is also called as event. Whereas a signal, so signal is the one which specifies, gives a specification of asynchronous stimulus communicated between instances. See, I was telling you about synchronous and asynchronous earlier, if you remember. Synchronous means when you are chatting, both have to be coordinated, both should be online. That is synchronization of the devices or synchronization. Okay, so asynchronous means it's like the mailbox. See, if at all I want to send a message to you, if I am online and I am just dropping in your inbox, you need not be there. Later you can check. So that is what asynchronous. No need of coordination between the two ends. Okay, that is asynchronous. So the signal is a kind of event. A signal is a kind of event that gives a specification of asynchronous stimulus between the two instances, which is done for the communication. Okay, so here we'll see in detail, still more you will understand. So when we move on to the concepts here, kinds of events. So we have two kinds of events here. Okay, an event can be external or internal event. Okay, when we say an external event, say suppose when you are working on the system, or when you fill the form and when you say submit, when you are clicking that, when you are pressing that button externally, so some event is performed, something is happening based on your action done there. So that is what we call it as external event. But when we call internal event, maybe within the program, so one in the flow control, one line calls the function definition, calls the function, and the control will go to the function definition and all that will be iterated. So that is what the communication which is done internally. So that thing we call it as internal events. What internally is happening. If some event is performed based on some action what you are doing externally to the system, then we call them as external events. So these are the things about internal and external events. And then moving on to the next one, signal. So just now we were learning a signal is nothing but the asynchronous communication between the objects. Okay, so when it is asynchronous, we can also talk about exception handling. Okay, so throw catch blocks will right now. So the same thing we can talk about the signal. And exceptions supported by most contemporary programming languages are most common of the internal ones. Since exceptional events are which are happening within the coding, right? So that's why they are called as internal events. Okay, so and how we represent those? How we represent a signal? So signal representation we just give like a class, and it is the stereotyped as signal, saying it as a signal, and we can name that signal, and based on that signal what are the properties of that signal, so everything can be specified. Okay, so sometimes a class operation may be depending on the signal. Say for example here, moment agent is a class. So maybe for a robo, this class is maintained. So where the properties of that is position and velocity. Position and velocity. Move to. So in order to move one step or some distance to be covered by a robo, it is depending on the collision signal. Okay, maybe for a collision signal, so it has maybe sensors may be attached, IoT things. So sensors will tell you if maybe at particular distance if any obstacle is coming, so the signal is sent to the collision class, and that in turn will be guiding the whether this operation move to have to be done or not. Okay, so that's how the operation of a particular class is depending on the signal. Okay, so that is about the signals, and moving on to the next one, call events. Call events. So we learned as event is nothing but event is the significant occurrence that has location in time and space. But not only that, the event represents the dispatch of an operation also. So sometimes one line of code may be calling the other function or recursive functions. So that is what the calling events. So here if you see the example, there are two different states here, manual and automatic. Okay, manual means say they are talking in terms of start auto pilot. So maybe when they want to start the plane, okay, manually they can do that by passing the parameters. Passing the parameters means what's the manually they have to start and what are the things to be set up ready before they take off. Okay, so that is what the manual thing. So the manual ones can be converted into automatic by performing some event on that. Okay, so that is what we call it as the event. Based on the event, the state of one may be changing into the other state. Okay, and then next one, time and change events. Time and change events. So this example we were talking, this machine whatever was active, maybe after some time it will be moved on to ideal state. So here this one we can specify after how much time it is going to change into ideal state. So for that we can specify maybe based on the operation the active state may be changed into ideal state, or we can specify the time also. So this active state, once the active state is activated, so after 2 seconds of time it is going to change into ideal state. So if we are going to give the time here, then that we call it as time event. Based on the time, if one state is changing into another and if we specify that time event in terms of time, so we use the keyword after. After keyword is used for time event, and within the parameters we just specify what is the time there. And here if you see change event, so the ideal state may change its state, maybe check itself whether it is in condition or not. Again this state is converted to active state. So for that, for doing self test to check itself, so when we are going to use when keyword for change event, when the time is this much, so this state is going to do self test for it. Okay, so that is what the change event and time event. Again I repeat, time event we give using after keyword, whereas change event we use when keyword, and we specify the parameters. Or else this change event, here in this example we are saying it as self test. Here time event we are saying it as drop connection, so that the active state will be dropped and it will be changed into ideal state. Okay, so these are the things about time and change events. And then we have sending and receiving messages. So I'll just tell you the concept here. Signal event and call event involve two objects. Okay, again signal and call events. You know what is a signal event and what is a call event. Signal event is the one when we want to send asynchronous communication. Okay, so and call event we can it can be the internal one. So these two things can be involved between two objects. So we are now specifically saying about the objects what are communicating in between the system. Okay, so objects that send the signal or invokes the operation. So the objects, so within the system, say there is an object which invokes the other operation by calling that function. So such type of objects are the first kind of objects, and the second kind of objects are the ones object to which event is directed. So whatever the function you have called, so that signal event, call event, it is going to go for its function definition. So that is what we are saying. Okay, here two objects are involved. First object are the ones object that send the signal or the invokes the operation, and the second one is objects to which event is directed. Okay, so if you see the example here, so we are taking active class. Active class means whose objects are under execution or under some process or a thread. So such classes we call it as active classes. Okay, and here in the active classes we are showing the fourth compartment for signal. So what kind of signal operation it's doing? Okay, so usually for a particular class we give the three compartments, saying class name, attributes and operations. Fourth compartment we are using for signals here. But not only that, fourth compartment is used for few more. So can anyone tell me fourth compartment is used for the other things? Two more things also. One is for responsibilities, one is for exceptions, if you remember. Okay. So responsibilities, we give the heading as responsibility, and each responsibility we give 2 hyphens and we write those sentences. So fourth compartment of the class can be used either for 3 options now. So responsibilities, exceptions and then signals. So what exactly this keypad manager signal operations are there? We are showing. So they can push the button by taking the parameter power up, power down. So these are the different signals which are can be the operations which can be performed by the keypad manager. Okay. So these are the terms and concepts of today's chapter, that is events and signals. So moving on to the second part, that is about common modeling techniques. Under common modeling techniques, to model a family of signals, so first we need to understand the scenario and we can find out the different kinds of signals with respect to the active objects which may respond and their relationships, and if any polymorphism and the intermediate abstract signals. So we can concentrate on these few things and the terminology what we have learned. So with that knowledge, so we'll see an example here, that is family of signals that may be handled by autonomous robot. So within an autonomous robot, so how exactly it is performing all its actions? It's based on the signal passed to it. Okay, so here robo signal, if you have to remember this, so this is the same class diagram we have seen, but now today since we are talking about the signal, so within that class, how those instances are initiated, how those operations are done, is done through a signal. Okay, initially in order to start a robot, we perform some external event on that. Based on that external event, once the action is performed and when we want the robot to move, so then internal actions it is going to check whether any collision is there. So it will get the signal of there is no obstacle, then only it can take one step. So that kind of scenario, so they are showing it in the diagram. Okay, so here robo signal. So here they are talking about 2 types of signals, so that's why generalization is given. So what of the signals? Collision signal or hardware fault. Okay, so in order to move forward, so that moving forward can be stopped at any time, maybe because of hardware fault, or maybe it might have got a signal saying that there would be some collision or some obstacle is there. Okay, so that's why these two we are giving, these 2 classes we are giving as generalization under robo signal. And this hardware fault can be of any type. Okay, either it can be a battery fault or movement fault or vision fault or ranging fault. Maybe it's not getting the signal of what range it has to take and all. So a fault can be of any of these kind of fault. So that's why again this we consider them as a subparts and this as the subclasses or the main class and giving generalization. And movement fault, so movement fault it can be a motor stall also. So okay, based on the motor. So more specific here. So again we are giving generalization. So based on the signals, how it is transmitted internally internal events are transmitted for the robot. So accordingly, it is going to perform the actions. Okay, so that is about families of signals. And then the next one, modeling exceptions. Okay, so how exactly we can show exceptions here? So here also the same scenarios. So for a class and interface, any operation or any exceptions are there. So first understanding the scenario and finding out if the exceptions are there. So those exceptions are kept in some hierarchy. So based on which exception is happening and all, so they are placed in the hierarchy and they will be arranged as a diagram. So here if you see the example here, so the hierarchy of abstract signal exception. Okay, so that is the example given here. So let's see here. See, there is an exception class and it is having three types of operations: set handler, first handler, last handler. Okay, so the exception can be either a duplicate exception or a overflow exception or underflow exception. Okay, so that's why we are placing these exceptions as classes and giving the stereotypes as exceptions, and these are the subclasses of the main exception class. So that's why we are giving the generalization. And there is one more class we have set. And when we give like this, what it is? It's a template class and it instances the generic thing. We show it as this dotted line and item. Okay, generic classes for which what is the instantiation template. So that we show. And what are the operations we have? We have add and remove. Okay, so add operation is depending on the duplicate exception. Okay, so this can be given for overflow exception, and underflow exception it can be removed. Okay, so what are these send? So these are the things what is the more specification about that dependency. Okay, so these are the things for today's class, and today, as I told you, we had a small topic, and this chapter is also a small one. So this is about events and signals.